Today we're talking about budgets for engineers. So if you're a fellow math nerd, then stay tuned. If you're looking for budgets for psychologists so you can low, that's probably a different channel. So I'm talking about engineers here, math nerds. That's what I am. That's hopefully what you are. And that's who I know to speak to. Everybody else, sorry, not sure I can help you. So first up with budgets, we want to make a plan that's logical, that's rational. It uses math a little bit. You don't have to know calculus by any means to be good at this, but this is useful if you want to pay off debt, if you want to save some savings, an emergency fund for a house, for retirement, things like that. Later on, we're going to jump into the classic 50-30-20 rule. So stay tuned for that, and I'll teach you how that can apply to your budget. First up, you need to calculate your take-home pay. You know, you get your salary of $75,000 or $100,000, and that's great and all, but you're not actually taking home $100,000. Uncle Sam needs to get his cut first, obviously. So take-home pay, look at your paychecks, minus health insurance, minus taxes, minus more taxes, and minus more taxes. You'll get your take-home pay. That's your net income. Next, you want to choose a budgeting system. So you can do the little white envelopes for each category every month. You can just do a notebook, kind of like balancing a checkbook. You can do something in Excel like what I have here for a budget. That's easy for me. There's a couple good softwares out there. Every dollar, you need a budget, Empower. There's probably a few that I'm not thinking of. You want to choose a budget system or a framework. You're going to understand that as an engineer. Next up, you need to just track your spending. So that's counting your calories. Did you eat 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000 calories today? Last month, did you spend $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000? Same thing. So you're going to download all your expenses off your bank. It should be pretty easy. Just download your transactions. You can look them up, jot them down in a notebook, and then you want to put them in categories. So you're going to have your housing bucket, your food bucket, your cars bucket, your shopping bucket, your restaurants, your subscriptions, random things like that there. And we're going to put this all in that 50-30-20 rule, and it'll really help make sense there. So once you track your spending, and you really need to kind of do this for 3 months, 90 days, something like that. So you're going to develop some patterns. So maybe you just paid for your car insurance, or you had some medical bills. Obviously, that's not going to be every month. So you want to figure out kind of what's the normal, what's the average. You're going to have mountains and valleys, highs and lows there. Figure out what are you spending every month. Your rent or your mortgage is going to be pretty easy. Utilities are going to go up and down. Insurance might go up and down a little bit. Your house repairs are going to go up. How much you go out to eat, Amazon, stuff like that. And how I like to do it here is I like to do just categories, a column for categories in Excel, and then a different column for every single month. How I like to categorize these is the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your take-home pay should go towards the big three. That's your housing, your cars, and your food. And that's really kind of your need to haves. And, you could obviously argue about some other little things like, I need to go to the gym, whatever. And then, so that 30% is like your gym, your restaurant, going out to eat, versus groceries. That's going to be your Target shopping, your Amazon shopping, traveling, maybe buying a nicer car, stuff like that. So that's the 30% bucket. And then the 20% bucket is going to be paying off debt and savings and charity as well. So I really recommend trying to get to a 20% savings rate. We're going to show you some savings in the next video about average net worth for engineers, and it talks about what a 20% savings rate is going to do for you long term. Obviously, it's going to build your wealth. And so that 20%, just to recap, paying off debt or investing. So 50% towards your needs, 30% towards your wants, 20% towards paying off debt. And then once you're back to broke, as I like to call it, then you can put 20% to long-term saving for a house down payment, a wedding, the next car, for your retirement, things like that. That leads into the next category is set up goals. So you're going to have those long-term savings goals, a long-term retirement goal, and set up how much do you need to save every month. If you save $100 every month, you'll have $1,200 a year. If you save $1,000 a month, you'll have $12,000 a year. Obviously it's pretty simple math for us engineers. You're going to have some fun money. You're going to have some travel savings account probably, but you're going to also need a new car in 5 or 10 years. And so if you need to save up, make sure to save long-term for retirement too. 10, 15, 20%, a pretty good rule of thumb to be comfortable. You choose what you want, but as an engineer, you understand the give and take there. So if you save nothing, you'll have nothing. If you save a little, you'll have a little. If you save a lot, you'll have a lot. Big shocker there. Then make a plan. You're an engineer. You understand budgeting for your projects. You understand making blueprints. You understand calculations that help build something up. So make a plan for what you're doing. So at first, you want to record your last 3 months of spending, but in the future, you want to be proactive and more or less make a plan. How am I going to spend money this month? Obviously, things are going to come up, so don't take it too serious. Don't die in the hill. You're an engineer, you can nerd out, but like chill out just a little bit. It's good for you. So like just make a plan of how you think it's going to go. So this is that envelope system of like, oh, I have $500 for fun money this month. And so if you need to take $1,000 flight or trip or whatever in 3 months, then maybe save $300 a month towards that and then eat out less the month or two beforehand. So things like that. And that's where as an engineer, you understand you're not just like YOLO, that's budgeting for psychologist majors or something. I don't know. Not engineers, obviously. That's making a plan. That's if you want to make a big change, I don't think you need to like cut out your weekend coffee or something like that. Save on the big three, on your housing, on your car, and on your meals. That's how you can squeeze an extra 10% out of your take-home pay and then have that go further to knock out debt or to save up for a house down payment. So after that, you just grab your popcorn. You're an engineer, so you've probably heard of compound interest. You probably remember that a little bit back from school, future value calculator, stuff like that. Compound interest does wonders. It's crazy. I'll throw up a quick chart here about average savings rate for engineers using that 20% rule of thumb and then expected net worth that you're going to have at age 30, 40, 50, and 60. I'm just quickly touching on this. I'm deep diving in the next video, so make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for that one. Using this 50, 30, 20 rule, this is how you should be able to have 100 grand by age 30, about 600 grand, mid six figures by 40, and then around 2 million by 50, and around 5, 6, 7 million by age 60. So do it. It works. Compound interest. It's math. You're an engineer. You trust it. So get wealthy and increase the options of your future, and make sure to be generous and give to those in need. Thanks all. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe.